Before we start getting into a heck of a lot of code, you actually are going to probably see some of the videos that have, well, using null instead of nullptr. Here's the funny part. The notes have been changed and the code has been changed for you. And the only change that really needed to happen was between literally changing null to null pointer. Literally, nothing has changed in the code except for literally a control F or control H, whatever, and that was it. Now, why? The problem is that before C++11, we were using capital N-U-L-L, null, and it was actually a macro that would assign and yield a 0 pointer. So it actually ended up having a value that was an integer. It really wasn't a null or a void, a null, just say no, I'm thinking Python for a second. But anyway, it was actual value. And that would cause problems, and that's why with C++11 and there on out, that we would go ahead and do something different. So again, as I'm setting when it looks like null, if I were to go ahead and display the two suckers that were set to null, we actually get an integer value of 0, and that, well, can be a problem. So one of the problems that we had with this before C++11 is that we would have some overloading function calling issues. Since more than one function can be named the same as you know in C++, null could be a pointer and an arithmetic value integer of 0. And that's called ambiguity, and that is bad. So what could happen here is that here's two functions named the same. One is an integer n, and the other one is a character pointer of n. We'd have return 1, which is not the problem here. But it wouldn't know which one to use null for because, again, null is a pointer. We know that part. But it's also an integer value. So that's where we would have problems with ambiguity. And here's the error it would say, calling the exact same thing I just described. That's obviously a problem. So from C++11, that's where we started using null pointer instead. Now, there still may be some videos later on down the road that have null in there, but again, the notes and the code have all been updated, and eventually I'm going to be cutting out all the different videos that still have null in there. But again, as soon as you see null, all you need to know is it's going to be null pointer instead. That's it. Keep it simple.